think we can get started with today's webinar. Thank you very much. Really delighted to have everybody participate today. In today's webinar, we're going to be talking about teamwork. Teamwork is very important, as some of you already know. Without teamwork, we really can't get anything done. We have to have people around us supporting us, and it just feels good to be a part of a team. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Andy real quick. He's going to be our host, and go ahead and take it away, Andy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Bauer, and I've been working with Harmony Plus for a very short time. This is my first webinar. I have been doing a lot of work with international students for about 15 years, and I lived in China for about 10 years, and I've just come back to the US. And today we're going to be talking about different aspects of teamwork, and Nathan's going to lead us through it. And what I'd like to say more than anything is that teamwork is something that is powerful only when we don't focus on ourselves. At Harmony Plus, we also believe that teamwork is something that helps us understand who we really are. As you know a little bit about Harmony Plus, we are based in San Francisco area, in Mountain View specifically, near the Silicon Valley. And we offer a variety of hybrid learning services, mostly online during this period. And we believe that it is important to empower students through different types of online hybrid learning with different types of tutoring, coaching, and facilitative support for all types of undergraduate and postgraduate prep services. We have also synchronous and asynchronous program support and different types of coaching content, which bridges both theory and practice through unique team setting learning environments. Today, when we talk about all of these teamwork points, we'll also be thinking about how to connect our qualities with our objectives in a better way. Many of you who've joined probably have interest in going to some of the most prestigious schools in the US. Well, we are good at doing teamwork to make sure that we can send you to some of those schools. We have plenty of experience sending students to schools like Johns Hopkins, Yale, and many other very, very well-known state-level schools around the United States. Just a little bit more about myself. I am an anthropologist. I've studied about cultural exchange from the point of view of how culture and society come together through many different contexts in different societies for about 10 years. I've spent a lot of time in Central Asia. And I've also been working on different music projects and quite a few different interesting industry projects in web development, as well as other types of business development. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about Mr. Nathan. Mr. Nathan is a Director of Strategic Partnerships and Education Consultant here at Harmony Plus. He has an MBA from the Harvard of the German-speaking world. That's the University of St. Gallen in Switzerland. He also has experience studying in Russia, and ample experience as a basketball player in the college level and also at the high school level. He worked for Zoom prior to working at Harmony Plus at a very interesting time when Zoom boomed and became one of the most successful information technology companies. It's really exciting to work with him and learn a lot about these different stories of his work success. I believe today when he talks about teamwork, you will feel some of this experience that he has had over at these different companies and the success he has accumulated over the years.
Great.
So without any more further ado, I'd like to hand the floor back over to Nathan.
Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate the intro. You didn't do too bad of a job trying to make me feel really old with 20 years of sales and marketing experience, but I started at a young age. How about that? But I really am excited to have Andy a part of our team. As you saw, he does speak some Chinese rather fluently for the company, so it's just another resource that we have. And throughout this presentation today, we're going to talk about teamwork. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. We're going to answer the questions at the end, so don't feel frustrated that we're not answering all the questions straight away. But with Andy on board, we have quite a few bilingual people working in our company. I'm bilingual, I just don't speak Chinese. So apologies for that, but Andy will probably step in and say some things in Chinese as well. So we're trying to mix things up with the bilingual languages going on here. So let's just get on into it. Today's agenda, we are going to talk about teamwork and the meaning of teamwork, how teamwork makes us all better. What do you parents do? How do you exhibit teamwork? And how Harmony Plus exhibits teamwork. Today's topic is a little bit off subject. Usually we talk about math, we talk about essays, college applications, things that are really kind of the hard sciences of getting into college, getting into high school. But you'll also notice over the past several months, and even over the year, we've tried to focus a lot on so-called soft skills or collaboration skills. And with universities now, a lot of them not requiring ACTs or SATs or any standardized tests, it is more important now than ever to develop these soft skills so that you can stand out, so you can stand apart from the other people who have 4.0 GPAs and valedictorians and salutatorians. So it's really important that we focus on these soft skills, such as entrepreneurship, extracurricular activities that we've discussed, getting some internships, some traineeships. We help with all of that here at Harmony Plus, how to become a leader, how to work with each other. And so today's topic is very important. We need teamwork. We are not all islands. We all have a group of people around us and they can support us. And more importantly, we can support each other. So with that being said, let's get into it a little bit more. So the meaning of teamwork, sure some of you have seen this acronym. Together, everyone achieves more, TEAM. And the best analogy I have is it comes from a Gangs of New York movie, and Butcher the Bill the Butcher, was talking about 5 fingers and how 5 fingers individually are not very strong, but you put them together for a fist and it becomes really powerful, really strong. That's the same method, the same meaning here. So if we all work together, we can become really powerful as a group rather than one individual. And I think with our cultural base, I think we all understand that very much so. And it doesn't take much for that teamwork to kind of drop off. As you see here, it could be one person just says, you know what, I don't want to be part of the team. I want to be an individual. I'm really smart. I'm smarter than everybody else. I have a higher GPA than everybody else. I don't really need to help the team. Not only does that weaken your stance to improve as a person, as a student, and it probably decreases your chance of getting into college, the one you want. It also hurts the people around you who relied on you to become that team member, to help anchor them together. So we're helping each other here. Individuals can achieve some pretty great things, but teams can achieve even greater things. When I think of individuals, you think of Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Esther Wojcicki. You think of really great and powerful people in our history. They all had a team around them. They all worked together as a team. Some of them might have been a bit dictatorial, but they all had people that they trusted and they helped support each other. So let's just keep that in mind. Individuals rarely just do everything by themselves. It's very, very rare in today's world. We can win awards by ourselves. Teams win championships. So like I said, I played basketball. I tried out for a Russian pro team back in the day. So I'm going to come back to basketball a lot today. So apologies for the non-sports fans, but I think, you can learn a lot through sports. You can learn a lot through how teamwork is done. A lot of individuals are really great basketball players, really good football players, really great as individuals. Their skills are off the charts, but there's a lot of people who are skilled and very talented that never win. They don't win championships because they're not on the best team. They're not the best teammate, whatever reason. There's a lot of instances of that. So teamwork, it's not for everybody, but you have to really give it a shot. You have to really help. You have to really try. So when I think of teamwork, I think of these two images right here. Many of you understand and know that basketball is a team sport, 5 people playing together, but there's also, bench players, coaches, trainers, support staff around them that makes them who they are. And when you look at the bottom left, you have Shaquille O'Neal, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. Most of you would probably recognize, either all of them or some of them, but you know them because not only are they great, but they're also champions. They've won several awards individually, but if they weren't able to win championships, their names would probably be forgotten. Much like those up at the top right, where each one of those players are probably in the top 20 NBA players of all time. Chris Webber up at the top left. Vince Carter is the best in-game dunker of all time. So that's when you jump and you throw it through the rim. It's really athletic. And then Steve Nash on the bottom right with Chris Paul, 2 of the top 5 point guards of all time. And Carmelo Anthony, who is in the top 10 of points scored of all time in the NBA. But they've never won a championship. So people around the world outside of NBA probably don't really understand who these people are. So being a part of team can help elevate your individual stance so much more. We just have to be trusting that our teammates are going to help us, and trusting that we can help our teammates. Another basketball analogy, this is Robert Horry. And he, outside of the NBA community, most people don't know who this guy is. He fits his role extremely well. He's won 7 championships, but nobody really understands him. Nobody knows who he is outside of the NBA. He really fits his role. He's the best team player, ultimate team sacrifice. He could have gone to another teams and been the star and really had a lot of points, a lot of individual accolades, but he chose to stay with the better teams and become a good teammate. And because of that, he has more championships than Michael Jordan, more championships than Magic, more championships than LeBron or Bird. So it's really important to be, a part of a team. And if you're not the star, how can you help that team? Because by helping that team, especially if you're not the star, can elevate your individual stance as well. I'm thinking of basketball players and football players that they fit their role perfectly. They were never the star, but they ended up getting full ride scholarships because they were on amazing teams. And so it really does elevate everybody in the room. Okay, so I say we have some stuff for non-sports fans. So that's always exciting. We talk about the flying V. So we have some geese here when birds fly together. It's a great analogy as well. They can defeat a lot of things in that V formation, but it's said that if any bird falls out of that V, the entire V just falls apart. And therefore, it's really not about being the star, the middle person in the front. It's about teamwork. And so that's a really good, analogy for the non-sports fans. And I think, Andy, maybe you can say something in Chinese that maybe encapsulates that a little bit more, because you brought this one up.
是，大家好，现在我展示一下我的非常糟糕的汉语水平。虽然我的词汇量还可以，但是那个声调有点问题。我刚刚在考虑怎么用汉语表达这个概念。大概的意思就是，一群鸟在飞空处的时候，如果其中一只鸟离开那个 V 的这个形式的话，就整个 V 会崩溃。好像包括最后的一只鸟，最前面的一只鸟，就是有这么一个说法。好像这个说法来自日本的企业文化 ，Japanese enterprise culture。差不多就是这个意思。
Fantastic. Really happy to have you here, Andy, so that every time we have an American who can speak Chinese, much like Kala does for the future planning team, we're really excited to have someone who can help us non-Chinese speakers help with the company. So great for the non-sports fans to understand this analogy. Okay, the next topic is, how do parents exhibit teamwork? And we always talk about the parents of the year. And usually it's a spoof, but this one is for real. Everyone attending this webinar, you guys are the award for Parents of the Year. You receive that because you're here to learn about how you can help your child with education, how you can become the ultimate team player in helping your child get into either high school or the college of your dreams. And really the support, it's just a form of teamwork. We're not asking you to do everything for your child, but to, guide them and support them and be there for them every step of the way. And there's several types of teamwork that I wanted to address. One is with your child and how you work with the child on after school programs, with homework, making sure that you're not doing the work for them, but helping guide them to think about it. But also when you're in a marriage, if you're lucky enough to have a nice spouse, you work together as a team, as parents, sharing, chores, doing things for each other, and having a yin-yang type of relationship is always really a good form of teamwork. And then how you parents as a couple can help guide the child. And the best way I've seen the best parents is both parents are very congruous, and they do things the same way. There's no conflict between the parents when they are parenting the child. And I think a lot of people that are here tonight, we're here today, that exhibit those behaviors. So we're really happy to have you. And I think, showing up is really important. That's 90% of the battle, just showing up. Every championship team, they have a great fan base. When you go to the Los Angeles Lakers or Milan, or you go to Liverpool or whatever, the football fans in the audience, there's always a huge crowd and it's a huge fan base. And that's another part of teamwork, that really you are the fan base for the child. The external world is pretty tough, and you have teachers, you have fellow classmates that are very competitive. You have teachers that are maybe a little bit rough, tough, which is trying to toughen them up for that external world. And you are the fan base to help support that child and help support your children getting into the 21st century. So becoming the fan base and being that cheerleader when you can, giving them some self-confidence, boosting their self-esteem. This is how you can really help your child really take off. And like I said, every child, they need real help, especially if they don't understand something. Actually helping them. It's one thing if children don't want to learn, but if you have a child who wants to learn and doesn't understand something, really take the time And if you don't know, you can come to us. We know a lot of things. We have a team of experts who have done things for years and years, and we know how to help teach children a new method or help them grow in a new subject. So if you feel like you can't help with anything like that, you can come to us. We'll help. We can take some of that burden away. So just actually helping, and you can see this family really engaging with each other, really engaging with the homework. And the photo is kind of funny because I don't know how many kids are actually smiling when they're doing homework. Most are really into it, but oops, that's one way to do it. And most importantly, you know your child more than anyone else in this world. So you can guide your child, maximize your child's likes and strengths, help them improve their weaknesses. And you do that by not forcing them, I think, down a path that is not in the best interest of the child, that maybe the child doesn't really want to go down. But you want to have that successful child in the future. So the best way is to just support them and guide them and help them with their strengths, help them with their likes and improve upon their weaknesses. So this is how parents can exhibit some teamwork. It's a famous quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes that I give to my kids when I'm teaching basketball and coaching basketball. Is I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. That's quite a lot. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And you can talk to most people who succeed, they have the same type of story. Elon Musk didn't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to build a rocket and it's going to work. They spent millions upon billions of dollars and destroying rockets after rockets before they could finally fix and make a rocket fly in space. So it takes a lot of time and practice, and you fail and fail and fail. And of course, the person that said this is Michael Jordan. So you don't think of him as someone who fails, you think of him as success. So all you see is the success, but you don't see the little fails behind the scenes that help them. So the point of this is that we really need to practice, practice, practice. And what I mean by that is practicing your teamwork. Maybe you're not really good at teamwork. We can always practice and try to feel how we can get better. And that's, again, where we can come into play. We have several coaches on the team. I come from a basketball coaching perspective, but people like Esther come from a parenting coaching aspect. She's also been coaching her students and her colleagues as well. We have Kala, who's an education consultant, and she's really, really good at helping coach not only children, but also parents, and how we can help work in teamwork. So we can practice and practice and practice. Just come to us and we can help you guys. And then finally, the last topic of the day, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up and kind of ask for questions. So we're going to have a pretty short webinar. It's one of the most important topics out there is teamwork. Even though this is a short webinar for today, it's really important that we exhibit teamwork. And you can see this here. This is one of our engaging students that are working on some assignments. We put in hundreds of hours every week. We can provide the best programs and services to specifically fit your and your child's needs. And so we work together. We've been together for a while now. We work with Bill is always available to help. We work well with Esther, helps well. We just really exhibit the teamwork, and we're going to do it because we have the vision of SMILE, and that's our kind of our core value. You've seen this before is support, mission, innovation, love, and enjoyment. So this is a little outing that we recently had like a couple of months ago. Bill, our CEO, Kala is just to the right, Esther's in the middle, along with Danielle, the co-founder. And then there's York in the back, and then there's me in the blue shirt. It's actually the same shirt I'm wearing now. I do have other shirts, so please don't worry for me. I do have other shirts that I wear. But we really enjoy working together, and we really enjoy helping our customers and our parents on this journey, because it is pretty tough. So allow us, we're the experts, we can really come in and help. And we don't really just say these are our core values, we really live. Support is something that we do for each other. We support each other, we support children, we support parents. We are mission driven. You don't get into education without having some kind of mission. You don't get into education for the money. You definitely don't get into education for the fame. So our mission is to help improve everybody, upgrade education. Innovation, this is how we are getting better as a company. We're innovating how we do things, how we interact. With COVID happened last year, we really had to innovate and really put that innovation to the test. And we do love. We serve several different types of love, but we're loving in the sense that we have huge hearts, and we're here to help you guys on this journey as well. And then enjoyment, we just love our jobs. I mean, it's 5 o'clock on a Saturday, and I'm loving this webinar. Andy, for him, he's actually stuck in Vietnam right now, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. So for him, getting up, he wouldn't do this if he didn't enjoy this job. Same with Allison, Bill, everybody on the team. We really enjoy working together and helping on this. So this is how we kind of help with teamwork and how we exhibit teamwork. And one thing that we'd like to talk about also is Esther and her trick formula. And she has a parenting course that's going through Harmony Plus. She's helped, I don't know, hundreds, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of students over her careers. They've gone on to many great things. Jeremy Lin, basketball player. Some other people are really famous. She knew Steve Jobs back in the day and helped him. So she's really great on how to raise successful people. So if we have anybody that's an expert, this is the expert in the world on how to raise children and how to make them successful. And by giving them the reins in their own education and allowing them to do things, really embodies the trick method. So trust, respect, independence, collaboration, and kindness. And with our parenting course that Esther provides, it's not very expensive, so you can get in there and kind of learn a lot about how to do some things with parenting. This is just such a cool photo, Esther. I really like you in this photo. It's really just shows how impactful you have been over the years. So we're just so grateful to have you on this team and helping lead us. Another part about Harmony Plus that we offer is the EATIC. And many of you have heard or seen the EATIC. It stands for Extracurricular Activity, Trainee, and Internship Club. And some of the reasons to join, you can enhance your college applications. So like I said, some schools, a lot of them are not looking at ACT or SAT scores. And even if they did, everybody is in the top 5% when they're getting into MIT or Stanford or Harvard. They're always in the top 5%. So how are you going to distinguish yourself from those other 5%? This is how to do it. You have to do something outside of just the hard stuff of reading, writing, and arithmetic and STEM. You have to be part of a team. You have to get engaged with extracurricular activities. And you can participate in exclusive extracurricular activity, many internship opportunities that we have developed. You can attend workshops, how to create a resume, how to write a cover letter, more things like this. Things that they don't necessarily teach in high school or college, but these are just things that you have to learn along the way and how to get better at those things. Collaborating on projects with other high achieving students. The best way to improve is to be around other high achieving students. It's the same way in sports. If you're always playing with players that are not good, you're never going to reach your full potential. But if you're playing all the time against players that are better than you, it's always going to improve the outcome. So I can't harp enough. We need to have more extracurricular activities with high engagement, high achieving students. You also gain leadership positions in the club, have a chance to receive the President's Volunteer Service Award, also get some letter of recommendations throughout this as well. So I highly recommend that people sign up with the EATIC program. It's top notch. It's the best that I've seen out there in the market. Really impressed with what they can do, what we can do with this program. And of course, we have the Future Entrepreneurial Challenge. It's designed for prospective business leaders who have an idea they want to develop, they want to foster this business idea. It helps with team collaboration as well. Entrepreneurs, it's not just a one person who goes out there and creates something. Mark Zuckerberg didn't do it by himself. He had a whole huge team of people to help with Facebook. He had the entrepreneur mindset. He also had the team aspect as well. But this is where students can come together, formulate an idea about a business, put together a presentation, do a pitch where we present to top-notch entrepreneurs, and eventually you're going to win and possibly win some prizes. Maybe you do start a company and become the next Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. Wouldn't that be exciting? So we're having one of these FEC programs starting in September. So the deadline is still right around the corner. But this is very important that we kind of get engaging with the FEC program. Here's just a kind of a snapshot of what that looks like. These are all students watching those at the top who are presenting their pitch, their business idea, and seeing if they can get funded or if they win the competition. So it's really exciting. It's a real world. It's not just a educational competition for just education purposes. This actually has real world implications. Gives your child some really good confidence, and also helps with your teamwork aspect as well. Like I said, we have an FEC coming up in September. It's just in a couple, actually just in 1 week. So starting next week until November 19th for grades 7 through 12. You can still sign up for this program, but the time to sign up is dwindling pretty quickly. You can come here, learn what it takes to start a business, receive some instruction, mentorship from experienced professionals that have done this before. It's really a great time to have this. You can't get this in any other school. You can't get this with any other program, with any other company. This is where we can really help your child stand out and help them give the experience that they really need to go forward. So that's pretty much the presentation on teamwork. We're going to open it up here pretty soon for questions. And I'm not sure if we have any questions throughout, but next week is going to be pretty exciting. So college application is coming up, early application season. And we have a principal, her name is Joanne, and she's the principal of one of the top private schools in north of San Francisco. She's going to come on and really discuss about, the college application season. That's going to be next week, same time, same place, same channel. So please tune in for that. It's going to be exciting to actually see, okay, what can I do for my child to help them with the application? Because it kind of gets crazy, it kind of gets hectic. How do we do all the things that are required nowadays? Is my child going to get an edge up? What are the weaknesses? Where can we improve? How am I going to distinguish our child from the rest of the children who are all in the top 5%? Remember, we're competing heavily. How do we stand out? So we can help with this. Next week's going to be really exciting. Please tune in. So here's our QR code. I'll just leave that up for a minute. And if you could start asking some questions, either in the chat function or the Q&A function. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. Get back here. Okay, so I'll leave that up a little bit. And then if we could get some questions answered while we're doing this. How do you work with a colleague or a team member you don't like? Yeah, that's always a tricky one, isn't it? So we all have personality clashes. That's just the name of the game. That's the name of human nature. And how do you work with a colleague or team member you don't like is to try and not make it personal. I know that's difficult. I've done that in the past, made things personal. But you have to have a concerted effort to look at the problem and focus on the problem at hand, not focus on the person that's making the problem. All right. So, for example, if Andy and I just don't like each other, which is not the case, I really like Andy, we like each other. But if Andy and I didn't like each other, how can we work together? Well, we have a common vision. We have those common core values, smile. And our mission is to upgrade education. We focus on the problem at hand. And maybe our personality clashes just mean we think about things differently. That's often the times, or it's a miscommunication. Sometimes Andy would say something or I would say something was just misconstrued. Ask for clarification. We can get on the same page. A lot of times arguments and personality conflicts just come from assuming something or thinking that person meant something when he or she really didn't mean what that person said. So getting on the same page and just working through the problem and keeping your focus on the problem or the solution. Next question is, what makes good teamwork? Yeah, I think we've covered that in today's webinar. There's many good examples of good teamwork. I would, if you are a sports fan, check out all the best championship teams. They love each other. They really like working with each other, playing with each other, and they really push each other. Because if you listen to them behind the scenes, they have a lot of arguments. They have a lot of discussions about what to do, what not to do. But they all come together because they have a common goal. You can have a great team, but if you're not working towards a common goal, it really makes the team efforts kind of fruitless. So that's another aspect that maybe we should talk about the next time, is having the same goal on your team, making sure that you are aligned that way. What type of skills should you bring to a team? You should bring your natural skills. If you are a natural presenter, if you're a natural charismatic person, come and be yourself. Take charge of, hey, I can do that. I can present, or I can talk with the teacher about this, or I can lead this team. If you're kind of an introverted person, but you're really good at math or data or something like that, that's a skill that you can bring to the team, to the table. Everybody needs somebody to help with all of these things. So what makes a good, or what type of skills should you bring to a team? Your natural skills. That's always the best. If you're trying to force yourself into a bucket where you don't have that skill, or you need really a lot of improvement, it's not going to do well. Not only for the team, but also it's going to make you frustrated, make your team frustrated, and it's really going to be kind of a failure at that point. Some other questions? Yeah. What if your team member is lazy and unmotivated and is letting the team down? Yeah, that happens a lot. There's always, in college, that was always the case, where you'd have 4 people who were doing all the work, and then one teammate just showed up at the last day and, claimed a team prize. Yeah, that's one of those things where you have to really kind of buckle down and work together as a team. And look, to be honest, sometimes there's a team member that just refuses to help, refuses to work with you, refuses everything, and is really lazy and just doesn't want to do anything. Sometimes you just have to let that person go, rather than force yourself and ruin your rest of your teamwork, the rest of your team members. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes that happens in real life. It also happens in school. But yeah, you can try to talk with them. If you're the leader of the group, definitely take them aside. Say, is there anything that we can do to help you be part of the team? This is really important to us. What do you need from us to help you get there? Maybe turn it around, as you don't want them to do something for you. Ask what you can do for them. So kind of the JFK speech in a little different context. Okay, the QR code expired. Hold on.
I'd like to add something while we're waiting for the QR code, back to one of the very first questions about how do you work with a colleague or team you don't like. And I would like to bring up a very interesting English word or concept, which is good sportsmanship. The idea of good sportsmanship indicates that when we go out to play a basketball game or whatever game, we don't treat the opponent as an enemy, and we engage them with a sense of challenge, but also respect and including a respect for their differences and their different values and the different team that they support and the different ideals they support. Therefore, sometimes even in our own team, although we may have basic value alignment, we might have some basic common beliefs. In fact, all values won't probably align all the time. So it comes to this point, and also the point that personality differences, conflicts in personalities will exist in so many different situations. And so when we are trying to work with team members that don't seem to think or value the same things that we do, or we just simply don't like them, I believe it is a very good method to employ, to engage them with a sense of good sportsmanship and appreciate that they're hard to get along with, hard to cooperate with, from the point of view that it will help you to, as Nathan said, not get emotionally involved and approach the work in a gamified mentality. Gamified meaning taking it as a challenge and trying to crack its code and achieving a sense of joy from this. And through this process, you can get a very positive vibe for yourself, although it might be still difficult to handle that person throughout the process.
Yeah. Difficult teammates are just a part of life. And you might be a difficult teammate. So we definitely take that advice. Thank you, Andy. I think we sent out the QR code, Julia. So it's in the chat for those of you who don't know. I think we have the WeChat group here, so you can scan that one at the presentation. We have our Facebook group, our email, our phone number to get in touch with us. And also, I think there was a question about the son spending too much time playing video games. And yeah, I think that's a real issue. With today's day, it's really difficult to get a child's attention because of video games, but also all sorts of external factors come into play. Social media comes into play. The WeChat comes into play where you're texting so much. All sorts of things are going to take our children's focus away. As far as like being a parent and how to help manage his time, set up priority. Yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. And I think I'm not sure if Esther is online. If she wants to add something, we can have her talk, because she's really the parenting expert at Harmony Plus. I would suggest maybe signing up for one of her courses, and we can really dive deep, because this is a big problem. How to get children away from playing computer games, how to get them focused on the task at hand, such as taking the SAT, which is really important. So I don't know, asking your child, what is going to help make him or her, I think it's a him, right? Yeah, he doesn't put much effort into it. Asking him what he can do, what we can do as parents to help him take the SAT. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of parenting techniques that we can get into. I think I don't really have the answer for this one. Anybody else want to jump in and maybe answer that?
Sure, I'll take this. I've worked with quite a few students over the years that were heavily involved into gaming, in some cases to the point of it being an addiction and a dangerous relationship between the student and their game hobby. And it could affect their health, their sleeping habits, their eating schedules, and more, their ability to focus in class, especially. So here, the degree of chronicness needs to be assessed by you. Is it clinically addictive? Maybe. Depends on the person. You have to exercise some judgment based on your observations and experience with the child. If it's gone on for a long time and it's affecting their health, sometimes parents also, as you know, have to step in and really put their foot down and take away devices completely. But on the other hand, in consideration of a more holistic solution, I believe a lot of parents are in a struggle between getting their students to stop playing games and studying more. But the reason that they like games so much in the first place is sometimes because parents failed to convey to their children the joy of diversified life activity inside of the family settings. For example, with family outings. And this also relates to how effectively we communicate with our children. Do we make them feel that we're listening and interacting with them, or do we make them feel like we are monitoring and helicoptering over them? If we can improve this relationship dynamic and we can diversify our life activities, then I believe it's a matter of time before kids realize that gaming is only one part of life and not a replacement for all of the diverse life activities they can engage in. But if you try to discipline them by imposing more study time and suggesting that they put the games down, you may not get the effect that you want. It might be better to focus on something else, which is collaboration with them, something that Esther also emphasizes. 我现在用汉语大概总结一下我的这个刚才的概念。这些过于喜欢玩电子游戏的孩子是一个非常有难度的问题。为什么？因为对一些孩子来说，玩游戏是一个非常开心、非常有娱乐感的活动，会让他放松，会让他忘记一些生活和学习还有家庭的压力。但是其中也有不少的孩子，他学习的这些，不是学习，只是玩的这些，已经达到了一个比较严重的情况，他已经开始影响他的健康、他的饮食习惯、睡眠时间等等这些，有的是已经会被视为一种需要医疗的协助才能解决的，因为它属于一种瘾的情况，就是 addiction， 是吧？如果没有达到这个程度，可能不需要去咨询，比如说一些心理咨询者或者医生去考虑怎么调整生活。但是如果你想用另外一个方式去解决，我的建议就是这样：如果你一直说孩子你花太多时间玩这个电子游戏，你一定要开始更多的学习，多学习，多学习。你看这个对话里面没有任何怎么说很舒服的感觉，就是一直压制他的一种表达。所以呢，我的意思是，有时候我们说的和我们做的有不同的逆向效果。如果你说的可能只能造成逆向的效果，让他想更玩游戏。如果你这么说，因为他觉得你是压制他。但是呢，如果你通过行动的方式去表达，让他感觉到生活是更多样的，有更多的维度，可能更好。比如说你跟家人去玩的时候，有没有有一种很好的沟通，一个家庭的一个沟通的一种模式，感情的交流、思维的交流、意见的交流等等。如果你让他更欣赏，还有觉得跟家人交流很开心，可能会明白生活并不只是玩电子游戏的机会。而且你的家庭出去的这些户外活动的多样化也非常关键。如果你一直做同一个活动，每个周末带孩子去学习，或者带他们去一个培训班，或者带他们去做一个稍微有学习补充价值的一种活动，他们可能会觉得讨厌。所以怎么说，就是你们肯定注意到了最近的一些相关资料，play hard study hard, work hard，是好好工作，好好休息，好好玩。这个好好玩也很关键，不能一直在学习。很多人成功的一个理由就是因为他们学好了怎么效率的学习，然后最后停止好好的玩，这样中学生的大脑，就是从一个生物学的角度来说，才能正确的发展，不能一直学习，不能让你的大脑正确的发展。它的不同领域需要不同的设计。如果你一直在学习，你只是自己一个方面。所以呢，这个有很多互补的帮助，对于整个人的发展。再说，他对家庭关系有非常无可否定的一个提高的空间的机会。我的这个汉语就是有点长了。反正在这个过程当中，你看有时候你说的不如你做的重要，所以我相信一部分的解决在给孩子更多空间，感觉到生活多样化的生活方式是比较好的，比较可以帮助他在生活有更好的成就感，然后要好好提升每个家人之间的这些沟通，让大家都觉得互相很平等、很公正，很有一个协作关系，就是 collaboration，就是 Esther 老师提到主张的那个概念。协作和合作又不一样，要学好这个区别。协作是一个非常有意思的，它是进一步的平等合作。差不多就是这些，希望你们可以听多了我的这个声调不太好的汉语。Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. Yeah, I think you keep speaking Chinese so well. I think we're going to have you do some of our Chinese webinars, actually. So,
Sure.
Great. Yeah, Sandra, thank you again for all the questions. Yeah, amazing communication. Okay, so it's verified. Chinese speaker says you use pretty good Chinese. So to me, I can't tell, but very good. Thank you so much, Andy. Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. So last chance to say anything, but I think we're going to go ahead and call this one a quits and a successful webinar for the day. Yeah, please feel free to sign up for next week's webinar. We'll have the registration sent out sometime next week, and we can get you guys up and running for next week's webinar on college applications. Be sure to get on there as fast as possible. And then also sign up again for the FEC program. Deadline's coming up. We also have other programs with Esther's parenting course, as well as some other courses with the EATIC, so extracurricular activity, training, and internship club. So with that, I'll bid you guys adieu. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you guys along in the future. Thank you. Have a nice one, everybody.